Okay. All right. Ana gadi wahi ga joke was what I'm seeing, Snyardi. Because he does video, you just go and nudge on Dutch, it's going to start. I don't know that running. Excuse me. They tell me what I do, Gorunga Gari, I guess. Yet he sought us a tanko garako, dano, yet in the stadio, Hunzagi, dano, Guiguscut, Meganungwe. They tell me what I do, a Guades and Egan, that together, dano, a Guego or Quadziri or Nuko Sopna. They tell me what I do, yet he sought a gunhan there on the headstone, they're going to go here, or the Hawakway. Yonkiat again, had damn dawe on Hetzer, because it's Tasser and Meganungwe. Tam dawi aron hetzer ne a gwego on a gordon gayon rasted a go and scan dono asat niga darge ne ganyaga hagar radinyato ranata runi dono riskrewage dono dam dawi aron hetzer skana kazat stasera dono gari wa gari shusera dono dam dawi aron hetzer ne Kayandawana ne Gani Rio. Okay, so as always, as everybody knows, whenever we get together for anything of importance, we always have to carry out the Honda Gari Wadeko first. This is the words that come before all else. That's where we give thanks for and remind ourselves of the things in creation that have created us and the things that we need to continue to sustain us. So no need to go over and identify what is said. Everybody by now knows pretty much. And anyways, if anything is left out, like always, you put it in its proper place. What is that thing on there? You got a little something here. Okay. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about something that is really timely. Holy crap, it's getting really smoky in here. Somebody better open that door. All of a sudden, our sage just exploded with it's like a smoke bomb. It's kind of like fading into the painting. Okay, so we're going to talk about something very important tonight, something that is timely, that is happening right now. As everybody knows, there's whatever they call it. What is it, COP 28 or COP 50 or something now? That's taking place in, is it in Denmark or Scotland, I think? Somewhere in Europe. Anyways, today there was a lot of protests, a lot of people coming out and identifying that whatever they're doing, you know, the governments, the powers that be, that it's all a bunch of lip service, that there's nothing that they're doing. World leaders from different countries are pledging only to do certain things, like say restrict fossil fuel burning engines, automobiles, to restrict that by 2050. But big deal, the United Nations said that you have to reverse this by 2030. So why take action 20 years after what the United Nations deadline is supposed to be? So this pretty much shows everybody that the powers that be, the governments that are supposed to be representing you, representing the people, are not representing the people in their best interest, which is to stay alive, to stay healthy. It's like having a doctor that's prescribing cyanide to you, you know, slowly but surely, small doses until your system just can't take it till it breaks down. This is the equivalent of what's happening to the people of the world right now, where we are in the last 2 years. Everybody has been pretty much locked down. So you think of it now, everybody is having these restrictions released, and people are getting to go to the movies again. People are getting to go on vacation again. They're getting to travel. So think about this. If we're gonna reverse the environmental issues that are happening to our Mother Earth, that means we have to stop doing certain things. Now think about this. Since everybody's just coming back to their so-called freedom of being able to travel, go to the movies, go to wherever, Are you gonna stop doing those things now? Is the world gonna stop doing anything? So think about this. We have to stop doing something in order to reverse the destruction to the environment. But there isn't anything that anybody is gonna stop doing. There isn't anything that any country, any group of countries are gonna stop doing, which is of the contributing factors that are the destruction of our Mother Earth. We know that right now. We have to stop all productions of plastic. That ain't gonna happen. So stopping something is not gonna happen. So everybody is doing still advancing. Stopping would be the solution. So since stopping isn't on the table for anything, you know, they're talking about stopping again 20 years after the deadline. So why stop 20 years after the deadline? That's a stupid target to shoot for. That's for stupid people who are not rational human beings dealing with reality. So when we consider that there's nothing that anybody's going to stop, nobody's going to stop using fossil fuel burning engines, nobody's going to stop using trees. That means building houses, cutting down the trees, taking away from oxygen source. Nobody's going to stop doing that. Nobody's going to stop the polluting. So this means we are in a spiral. So then we must look at something then, not of what we have to stop or what we should do to stop something. What we got to look at is what we have to start doing. So what we have to start doing is, of course, taking care of our Mother Earth. And so to be realistic, what is it that we can all start doing in light of we're not going to stop doing any of the things that are negative or that are polluting? Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about. So we won't say tonight, we'll just say now, so that this can apply at any time, day or night. So now we're going to discuss the health of our Mother Earth. Okay, let's write the next thing in English. I was doing that. We must assess our circumstances truthfully.
That's assess is correctly.
A-C-E-S-S.
A-C-E-S-S.
Yeah, 4 S's.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's too much. Yes.
Or, okay, then whatever is going to be more suitable, we must conclude, deduce, determine. Once he comes out with the Kanienkeha word, we'll see which is
I'm going to change for determine.
the best one.
Okay.
Based on fact. Based on facts. Many facts. Very factualized. If it gets too cold, you can close that window.
I'll never be.
Wow.
Water. Oh, Negunos.
Fill it up first.
Okay. Okay, let's go back to the top one, eat it.
Okay.
Okay, ua o de watara kwe agoda garitsera yukini staha uhunza.
Can you repeat the second word while you're Gerda?
On de watara kwe agoda garitsera yukini staha uhunza.
Ande Watarda. Okay. Ua ande Watarda kwe agoda garitsera kinistaa ohunza.
It's the one.
I
So Linda,
return.
you want to try
Hang
it?
on.
Ua onde wataragwe agoda garitsera yonkinistaa ohunza.
Unwa ante watarakwe agoda garitsera yunkinistan uhunta. Elsa.
Wa andiragon antewataragwe agota garitsera yukinintana onza.
France.
Unua andewataragwe agoda garitsera yunkinistaha aunza.
Very good, Franz.
Harold.
Uma antewa taragwe gota garitsera yonkina staa ahonsa.
You're always good, you.
Marc.
Unwa antewataragwe agota garitsera yunginistana ohonsa.
Okay, the first time you said Yunki, you were right on. Yukini. It's good. It's good, but you were right on and you went back.
Steven.
Uma antewetarakwe akota karitsera yukinistaha ahonsa.
Okay. And Lisa is just joining. So the order for today will be Stuart, Marie-Claude, Edith, Elsa, France, Harold, Mark, Steven, and Lisa. Okay, I'm going down here.
Wait, wait. There's a problem with the way I read that there. Okay, the third word on the top line. Agoda. Can you pronounce that? Agoda garitsere? Garitsera?
Agoda garitsera, that's the right way.
Agoda. Agoda. Put one in between the O and the T.
Oh boy.
Agoda. Agoda garitsera. Agoda garitsera. Does that look okay to you, Gerda?
Yeah.
Agoda garitsera. Okay. For me, it's easier to understand it like that, to break the syllables or whatever apart in the right place. Okay, all right.
Okay. Yatayung guari wayon. Yatayung guari wayon. That wayon, IEN split it. Yatayung guari wayon ne. Genome. Yawon. Jinayawane orihuyo nahoda gari wahere. Gari. All right, that should do it, but let me read it again. Yata yu gwari huayo da ne, jino yawo ne, ori huyo na hodo gari wahere.
Okay, that dane, dane. Put one in between it.
Here,
Yeah.
Jeez.
are you okay?
What happened? Chair break? Don't fall backwards there, you bust up all our all our hemp plugs.
You have that one.
Okay, ya deon gari wayantane, zina yawane,
Yeah, I just put it up because the apostrophe moved the whole thing.
What happened here now? Where am I?
You were reading this one. Sinanyawane.
Zina yawane,
Jino yawo ne.
ya wene. Ya. Okay, you better put one after the ya.
Oh no, you're gonna make it go down again. No. Okay, hang on, because when I copy this takes less space. All right.
Okay, where do I continue now?
Jino yawo ne.
Zina yawane, orihuio nahoda gari wahare.
Yadeyon gwari wayondane, zina yawane, oriwiyo nahoda gariwahere.
Yadeyongwari wayandane, sinayawane, orihuyo, nahoda, gariwahere.
Yateyu kwari mayontani. Sino yawan wane. Okay, I'm going win again. Sino yawane. Sino yawane. Ori miyo. No tan gari way.
Yade yon gari wayane wayadane tinye yawene oriwio nahodan gari wahere.
Okay, jino yawo ne, everybody, jino yawo ne.
Sina yawane oriwio nahoda gari wahere.
Ya deon gwari wayantane, zina yawane, ori wio nahoda gari wahere.
Ayat yung kwari wayantane, sina yawane, or hiwiu, nahoda, gari wahere.
Very good, Mark.
Steven?
Yation kwari wayantane, zina yawene, oriwio nahoda gari wahare.
Lisa?
Ion Dion Gari Wion Dene Jinyon Ya Wion Ne Orivio Nahodon Gari Wahare.
Wahere. Hmm.
Oh, that's it. Okay. You know what? Let's try that. Zina yawane. Take out the one between the wene. Zina Yawene. Does that still make sense like that while you're there?
Makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier to read it fast. With that break there, it was hard to get it to
Yeah.
pronounce Wene, Yawene. Because with that break there, you break it down. Wa, ne. Okay, all right. Where are we?
Next phrase that you wanna.
Oh, okay. Everything in life has been made ugly. And then after that, right, the sky is dark. You can't drink from the rivers. She put a new line.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, you got to leave it there while he's doing that.
No, I can.
The forests are disappearing. Oh, the forest and her animals are disappearing. Okay, what else could we put in there? Let's see, of the sky is turning dark. Can't drink from the rivers. We adjust the forests.
Nuclear is a constant definitely.
Wait, okay, about exposing her insides. We have in digging her soil, we have turned her inside out. Bringing the toxins to the surface.
Okay, I think that I stop there because.
Yeah, we don't want to get too much of a list, but we want to make sure that we
No, what I'm talking about is the screen for now.
address all things. Food is becoming scarce.
Just hang on.
Okay, after food is becoming scarce, all of these things turning people against each other. Ooh, I think we can close that door now. Huh?
All of these things making people.
Turn against each other. Okay, we gotta have in there somehow of where we've made it too expensive to live. We made it too expensive to live. Yeah, right at the end of this, it'll be, we made it too expensive to live. Locking us into destroying all these things.
Where are you, Wayagiru?
Well, keep going, but I mean, you're bouncing around. Go up.
Yeah, that's
scroll up.
why if you want to send me like a part so I can start putting it because it's line by line so we don't get lost.
Okay, now I did not said, okay, let's go on back up. I want to see something to finish something
Or hang on just a sec.
about the food.
Oh, okay.
Up some more. Okay, that's good, good. Okay, I'll just send it up to where the food is scarce.
Okay, perfect. That's going to be a challenge. Okay, so. Okay, Lisa says that she's got stormy weather, so if she disappears, it's not her fault. We got you, Lisa. Okay, so. Ready. The sky is dark is where that's where we started. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be what part? Goriahonsi?
Kanienkeha, yeah, the sky is dark.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna copy that. And then you can drink from the rivers is Ya, Daonton, Ayesua, Negira.
Yeah, that's the one.
Come on. Okay.
Oh, Naganos.
Oh yeah, that goes there too, huh?
Yeah. You want to just do that much right now?
Let me just copy everything that you gave me and
Oh, okay.
Maybe we should, there's not much more there, huh?
hang on,
Maybe we should just go right.
Okay. Let her finish, then I'll finish it too.
Is that right?
Okay, I can't see nothing. Okay, I don't want to get all Naganos. Okay, river. What's that? You got that from the rivers. You got the.
Yeah, let me see what
You
you
got that mixed with something else, eh? Okay. Gahyun Hagunsun. Gahyun Hagunsun. K-A.
Uh-huh.
Take the R out.
Uh-huh.
Hion. Gahyun Hagunsun. Okay. And then Goodirio. That's okay. Ne disappeared.
Okay.
Ne. Okay.
And then
Agogara Yejokwats. Okay, we dig up her soil. And then what you tea not in the duck.
As we have turned her inside out.
Yeah, what you tea not in the duck. Tako, you got a Y there, or did I put a Y in?
Yeah.
What you tea not in the duck, we turned her inside out. And the toxins. Vad heter det? Och dagar då, ja. Att den alltså då,
That's the food is becoming scarce.
scarce, yeah. And then we didn't write these, all things make people, all these things make people even a hold. Okay, point. Okay.
That's the two phrases, Guayaguru?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sotikanoru, Aichun Hechige. Aya, June Hedgege.
Aya June Hedgig. Aya June Hedgig.
And then are you junior? Are you June? I would. Are you June? Tion. That's where I would split it. Are you June?
Just a sec. Okay, Bert, do we want to go to the top to do all of them?
Aya June, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna copy this
Are
one.
you junior? Yeah, right there.
Yeah, just a sec. There we go.
Are you junior? And then Ayedewa. Three. RHI.
Yeah, just put it there. The one between the A and the R. It's not necessary there. Aya Jewadi. where do you want to?
Okay.
I'm gonna go
And
up.
then in the bottom, nahodance. We don't have to break that up, I don't think.
Okay, so I'm
Okay,
going
wait,
up.
let's go one more right at the end there. Might as well do it.
Okay.
Okay, now let's find the proper word. Commodification, putting a price on life. Putting a price on life is the white man's disease. The people of the Longhouse were at these crossroads before.
Did you change things? Okay. Putting price of life, okay.
Longhouse.
Were at these crossroads before. New sentence. One man.
John, hang on, just a sec.
Saved us from this path of destruction. With the Gorda. With the wait a minute. With the healing wampum of condolence. This is where the Christian Handsome Lakers get their references from. When they say healing wampum, you know, or they give reference to their so-called whatever it is, Handsome Lake, their healing wampum, whatever it is. They give reference to that, but the healing wampum, that doesn't come from Handsome Lake. Healing wampum comes from Hiawatha. Hiawatha is the one that created the first healing wampum. That's the 13 shell string. So the Christian Handsome Lake Lakers have no claim to anything of healing wampum or anything like that. We could go even more specific here. I don't know. It might be with the healing wampum of the 13 shell string condolence.
TH.
What?
String.
Shell string. And that shell string capitalized and in quotes. 13 shell string capitalized in quotes. End quote after string. Oh, wait, 13 shell string. Condolence, wait. No, 13 shell string. And that shell string even put it together with a line breaking it. This action that we're talking about, without this action of this one single man, nobody here today would be here in the state that we're in, under the conditions that we're in. You, the non-native people, probably would not have been allowed to live upon stepping foot here in Turtle Island, if not for this one man changing us completely from all corruption into now, the complete path of peace is not understood by anyone who's walking or who has corruptions of war within them. The complete path of peace will be undetectable and unknown to you. How establishing peace in your pinky finger will give you peace in your big toe, and vice versa. These are things that are not understood in the non-native world. The what do you call that? Not symbiosis.
Fusion?
What?
Fusion?
Man, I can't think of the word.
Homeostasis.
No. I can't think of the word. It was right on the tip of my tongue. I got in my head metamorphosis, not metamorphosis.
Symbiosis?
It's along the lines of symbiosis, but anyways, to identify that the great law of peace has a lot of little intricacies, and just like you have relatives, if you're peaceful, then all of your relatives are going to be at peace with you, and you being at peace with them will by extension have peace in all the areas that they are connected to. So an interconnected outcome of peace is achieved by establishing peace in just one tiny little area. Again, like establishing peace out of all your fingers, just in your tip of your pinky finger will have far-reaching effects. And this is in what Hiawatha had done in the work of working to bring the Gunawida, Adadaho, to prepare Adadaho's mind for the coming of the Gunawida, that there was a lot of tribulations that Hiawatha had encountered, and the worst one is him losing his 7 daughters. And in losing his 7 daughters, he was gone. This is where he split the sky for a moon. Everybody knew the sky was not just a matter of just his individual sky being split. It was the sky of everyone, because everyone knew that peace on the land, peace within the people depended on this one man. And this one man had strayed from his trajectory due to his suffering of his great loss. And it was his great loss in finding the words to heal himself, to lament himself, that it was the Ganawida hearing the words of Ayawata, that Ayawata stayed in the darkness, even though he was reading and saying this over and over, that if I would ever encounter anybody who is feeling and experiencing the same darkness such as he, that surely he would speak these words to them. He would help them to heal, to tell them that the sunlight will remain, they will be back in the sunlight. And when he done this, then this was not just something that Ayawanta was doing for himself. It was something that was done for all the people. It was something that was done in relation from all the people to what all the people were relating to, meaning the rest of the creation. But when you're at war, then the way you relate to the rest of creation is not in a balanced, symbiotic way. It is, of course, a destructive way. It's a user way. You use that. And this is how domestic animals has come about. In the white man's world, the reason why there is still domestic animals is because they were developed for sustenance within wartime. And the fact that you still have them, domesticated animals such as cows and chickens, is the indicator, the number one indicator that you are still in wartime. Because the way that you relate to all other things in creation then is based on either your freedom or your war. So it was Ayawanta that actually kept commodification from this continent, from Turtle Island. We were on that verge because war automatically creates commodification. Because when you're at war, let's say if you needed potatoes, but you're at war, well, what would you give the person who's going to bring you 100 pounds of potatoes? You would give them something that they value. And the first time you give them something that they value in exchange for something you need, then this is where you bastardize the life force of the food that you need. You commodify it. Once it's commodified, it turns against you. It will not be something that you will see immediately. It is something in the long term. Just like poisoning yourself, you're not going to die right away. It's something that will gradually happen. And so Ayawanta, in the work that he had done, actually prevented all the people of Turtle Island from becoming capitalists. As you see, as people know in history, that the Mohawks, the Kanienkeha that turned Mohawk, they became the very best capitalists, very good at capitalism. Because if you can be in balance with creation and then go to commodification, you will be the master of commodification. And so we have, the entire world has to be very grateful, and you'll never know it. The non-native world will never know of the role that was played in this world by one man, Ayawanta, over 2,000 years ago, in keeping all of Turtle Island free of commodification, free of that corruption of the white man's disease. It would have been our disease also, but it is rooted in weakness. It's rooted in sloth, laziness, all of those, what do they call them? The seven, not sins, but the seven bad traits, whatever, you know. Okay, anyways, are we, is the whole thing done? And okay, so do we just start from we just started all the way back from the beginning, huh?
That's where we stopped this phrase.
Okay, aguego tinahodo adun hatserago wa hetkado.
Aguego zinahodo adon hat serago wahet gado.
The one.
Next row, ra, ra, no.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Agwego sinahoda aduhatserago wahetgado.
So I'm gonna take these two out. Aguego sinahoda adon hatserago wahetgado. Elsa? Are you there, Elsa?
Yeah, sorry. I had to disconnect my phone because somebody came on calling. I'm gonna pass at the end.
Okay, then.
Aguego tina odan adu atseragon wa etkadon.
Good.
Oigo sinahoda adonha serago wahet gado.
You know what?
Aguego sinahoda adon hatserago wahetgadon.
He was kicked out. Sorry, I was just kicked out from the internet.
Aguego, zinahoda, adon het saragon, wa het gadon.
Harold, did you go?
Yeah, that's so. Did you hear me?
Okay, no, it's because we got disconnected. Sorry. Okay, so Lisa.
Agwego sinahodon adonhatserago wahetgadon.
Okay, so Elsa, are you ready to go?
Yeah. Okay. Aguego sinahoda aduha serago
Serago.
aduha serago wahetgado.
Good.
Sir.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait. Go back. I thought there was somebody else there. Okay, that adon hat serago. It's not adon het serago.
Well, when you write it in the context we wrote it, we gotta put adun hatserago.
Hot. Okay.
Yeah.
What would be the difference between adon hat serago and adon het serago?
In Hitzerago, well, not really much. But because of the other words that follow it, there's just a slight variation.
Is it because of what comes after of it being ugly?
Yeah.
Okay, so would it be that like if it's something nice or agreeable, that it would be adon het?
Yeah.
Okay, so then if it's something that's
Negative.
something that we don't want to talk about or something,
Yeah, it's a negative.
okay, that's a very important little mechanism to know then. Adun hetsera, adun hatsera. Okay.
Karun Yahunzi, we did this, no? Okay, Karun Yahunzi, that the sky is dark. Karun Yahunzi.
Koronya hunzi.
Garunya hunzi.
Garunya hunzi.
Caronia
Garunya hunzi.
Karunya hunsi.
Garunya hunsi.
Karunya Hunsi.
Garon Yahunse.
Okay, wait. We gotta add a little something there. The sky is dark in the day, and at night we cannot see the stars. There was a show I was listening to today on CBC, the Quarks and Quarks. I don't know if anybody ever listens to it. Anyways, there's some very interesting things on there. And there is a new area of research. I can't remember what the heck it is now. But it's right now, it's on Quarks and Quarks today. So anybody you can check this out on CBC radio. But there's a way of measuring now, a new way of measuring things from the past to the present, where you can't really gauge things if you're, say, for instance, can know the brightness of the sky from 100 years ago to now. How can we gauge that? We can't. Nobody was alive 100 years ago to say, oh yeah, this is darker than it was 100 years ago. But there's a new, I forget what it is, a new area of science or a new field of study, something like this, where now how it was compared 100 years ago and to now, to have an actual proper scale. As opposed to us just saying, well, we're used to this, like saying, if we're used to having steak, but over the years, it becomes poison, pumped full of hormones and tougher, whatever, like right now, our taste buds for steak tells us this is the best steak. But if we took that steak and compared it to a steak of 100 years ago, how would it stack up? Would it even be, people might even think that the steak of today might be garbage, like they wouldn't even feed it to their dog. So it's just to identify that there is a way of gauging. Now they have a scientific process, but outside of a scientific process of having to have gauges and scales, that kind of stuff, using the Gayanadas, you could gauge anything from any time frame, even from thousands of years ago, and compare it to now. And through law, then you can really determine the scale of things lost. So really right now on the planet, the only people who could really tell what is lost are the people of the Longhouse, who know the story of Ayawanta. If you don't know the story of Ayawanta, if you're not a person of the Longhouse of the Great Law of Peace, then you don't know what is lost in this world. So you don't have a way to gauge it. Okay, anyways.
Okay, the words we added was Ojokene.
Ojokene.
That's in the day,
Yeah.
and at night is asoten. Okay. So
Ojokene, then Asutane, Ojisto, Yataye de Watkato.
just a sec.
Goronya Hotzi.
Hang on. Just a second. Is that correct, Wayagiru? How it would be
Asutane, yeah. Asutane.
Okay, Goronya Hotzi, Ajungene, Asuntene, or Sisto, Ya, Tayate, Gato.
It's the one.
Garun Yahunsi, Ojokene, Asontane, Odisto, Ya, Dayatewatgat.
Daya, put a break at Daya.
Aye.
Daye. Daye de what? Gato. Yeah.
Garunya hunsi, otiogene, asuntene, otitso ya daye de wat gado.
Caronia once ocho kene asuntane otsitso ya taye te wat gato.
Garunya unsi odiogene a sondene otsisto ya daye dewat gado.
Good,
Gato.
good.
Garun. Peronia Hunsi. Ochogene. Ah. Ason. Dene. Otsisto. Ya. Daye. Dewat. Gato.
Garu Hiahunsi, Ojogene, Asuntane, Otisto, Daye, Tewagato.
Very good, Mark.
Garun Yahunsi, Ochokene, Asontene, Otsisto, Ya Taye Tewat Gato.
Garonye onte otio dene ason dene otitso ya diai dewa gato.
Daye dewat gato.
Wait a minute. You know what? We better put the Dano in there.
Let me hear.
Yeah. I know we don't have to, but for the reading's sake, at some point, people will be reading it and it'll just be a unnecessary confusion.
Okay, well, we don't have to say it just for the done.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can make it.
Dayate what? Can you break that down, Waigero? Dayate what?
Taye dewat gato. Taye dewat gato.
What's the meaning of that word? What does it break down to?
We cannot see.
Dayate. What's the we part? Is it Daye?
Yeah. Taye dewat gato. Again, it's the way it's written. It's going to change a little bit
So the day what? That's like
for us to see.
so is that connected to like Zaswat? Like in the same like Zaswat goes
Well,
out?
you could, but it's not there. This is specific to this sentence.
Daya de what gato. Okay, all right. I'm just trying to understand because I'm catching the we in the daye, and I know the gato is about the seeing part. So I'm just deducing that the dewat is sort of like the negative.
Because the changes it, see, not to see.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. You cannot drink from the rivers. Yah ta'undo. Ayazawa negira or neganos.
Ka undu. Ya ta undu. Ayeza wane girda. Ayeza wane girda onegonos.
Ya daundu ayesewa negira oneganos.
Ya ta untu ayesewa nekira oneganos.
Ya taunto. Ayer semana quiera oneganus.
Ya ta undos ayesewa negira oneganos.
Ayeze wane.
Who's next?
Harold?
Sorry. Ya ta untu. Ayeze wane kira uneganus.
Aya da huntu ayeze wanegira gira oneganos.
Ja tajunto ayesewa negira oneganos.
Aya don ondon I is one gira onegonos.
So ta undu, that's you, right? It's about you,
Ayundu.
No, unable to.
unable.
Yeah.
Oh. My tongue just gets, I cannot say these words.
Okay, eat
I could
it.
say these words. I could do this. I can do this.
Eat it.
Yeah.
Oops.
See that where it's written, ya tanto aizawa nekiro neganus?
Mm-hmm.
And then that word, gahiwagoso, that goes right behind it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the rivers.
the river.
Wow.
So you should put onegonos and guso on the same line.
Yeah, that's it. Gahiwagoso.
Okay, so the first part would basically be you can't drink, yeah?
Yeah, aizawa nekiro. No, it's good just the way it is. It's good.
Yeah, okay.
No, but we want to put the,
Gahiwagoso was down over here. Now take it away from there.
Yeah.
And we'll be starting with the animals. Kudirio utune.
So what is the forests?
The what?
The forests.
Okay.
condirio.
Kudirio is the animals or garhagoso. Kudirio utu. And then garhagoso. Karha apostrophe KONSON. Garagosu, the forest. Dano. Okay. Gudirio utu.
So this
Okay,
would be-
Garagosu, take Dano back out. No, that's it. They're disappearing. That's it. We're done.
So-
The forests and animals are disappearing. All you have to do is put behind Garhagosu. Shit. Godirio Garhagosu untune.
Is Garagunsu the forest?
Garhagosu, yes, the forest.
Okay, so if I put it like this, that would be like that.
Yeah. Garhagosu Godirio untune.
Okay, so just to finish this phrase here. Is that okay if I split that phrase like that?
Yeah. Karhagunsu godirio utune.
Gardagunso Gondirio Octune.
Garagunsun contirio juntune.
Garagunso Gondirio Untune.
Karaguso, continuo, done.
Garagunso gondirio dirio untune.
Karagunsum gontirio untune.
Garagunso, Gontirio, Ontune.
Gargunso, Gontirio, Ontene.
Gahargonson, Gontirio, Onhontane.
Utune.
Ontone.
That's the one.
Sure, we put
Okay, wait a
one.
minute, wait. Ontone, does it mean it's disappearing or is
Yeah,
it, it's
it
being,
means disappearing it. Utune.
or is it being destroyed or is
No,
it being
it's just-
killed?
It's just disappearing. Utune.
Okay,
Sure, we split it.
all right, and that, Gondirio,
It's the animals to be killed.
okay, the Gondirio, that when you're referring to the forest, what is that talking about?
Well, the way you wrote it, the forest and her animals. See, Karhagunsu. And okay, then we will put Danu. Karhagunsu Danu Godirio Utune. Yeah.
And how is it possessive to her? It's
Well,
her,
we kind of know she owns it. I mean, she's the,
okay, but for people who aren't used to saying that, like if we say the forest, we know we're talking about it's female and all the animals in the forest belong to her. But when somebody else hears us say forest, they're not hearing all of that. So we have to put the proper English to match what the Kanienkeha is. So the forest and her animals. How is Gondirio? Gondirio is just naturally female, right?
no, it's not naturally female. It's dualic animals to be killed for our use, for sustenance.
Okay,
That's why
so
we didn't keep animals. See, the white man, he kept cows and all that. They say got 10 now, but with us, we don't eat our pets. Them, they come under pets. Why? I don't know, but that's it. For us, they're not our pets. We're not attached. We are attached, but in a different way.
okay, there's something there for us to have a discussion on. Not right now though, but for us to discuss because, like we said, what happened with Ayawanta preventing us from the path of commodification, there is something that is not understood. What's in between the non-native and the native people? What is the difference? They think we'd be standing right next to each other, and the non-native people will think we're the same thing. We are not the same thing. You cannot be the same thing if when you see something, it tells you to kill. And if I see the same thing, it tells me to nurture. So we are definitely not the same thing. And right here in our reference to the life force that sustains us is a key understanding between our two ways, our two paths or two visions of life.
Well, the other night, I was watching a thing on the Crees up north, in the James Bay area, and one nation was hunting caribou, And they started to like, they had to take their quota and then they to kill them. And then they're not chief, their leader. He was the leader of the hunters. And he says, stop shooting them now, he says. And they didn't ask why, they just stopped shooting. And he explained it was so that the other nation down where the deer were headed would have something to eat. Now that wouldn't be the same way if you were thinking of non-native. They would say, let's kill them all, we'll sell it to them.
Yeah.
So
Or
the other nation, they had to take so many and let them go. So the next nation down the road everybody gets a piece of the pie.
Or we know that a conduct of the European in particular is very unique, specific just to them, as to what they've done to people around the world in killing their food supply, destroying the food supply. This is a new level of inhumanity that all natural peoples have never seen until the Europeans stepped foot in their home into their lands. So this is a very diametrically opposite way of thinking. It's the difference between day and night in all things. So right there is further, like we said, further discussion here into things that we cannot yet see. This is just scratching the surface to identify the forest and our animals are disappearing as a result of our relation to it. You know, how do we relate to those things? Okay, anyways, for anybody who is of Longhouse background, Guyana Raskanagoloy history of the Native people, little things like this are very, they're like the place in between the two pieces of puzzle that goes together, you know, what locks them together and makes the larger picture visible. Okay, let's continue. Where were we?
Good, the digging up, move up. Okay, I'll go Gara ye jokwats. Wajeti na nedako. Wajeti na nedako. I'll go Gara ye jokwats. Ye jok, split it at ye jok. Okay, I'll go Gara ye jokwats. Wajeti na nedako.
Wajeti na nedago is we have turned her inside out.
Yep.
Okay, I'll go Garda. Wajetino nadago.
Okay, once she stops moving it. Wajeti na nedako. Wajeti na nedako.
Wajetina nadako.
Agogana yejokwats. Wajedina nedago.
Agogana yejokwats wajedina nedago.
Agogara yejogwats. Wajetina nedako.
Agogara ye jokwats wajedina negako.
Agoganura, Yejokwats, Wajetina, Nedago.
Agogara Yachogwats Wachetina Negado.
Agogonra Yachagwats Wajetina Nedago.
What's that rattling or scraping?
Yeah, it's Ellen that just logged in. She's walking, but I just muted her. But Ellen, if you want to participate, you can do it at the end for sure.
Agogana Yojoguats, Wachi, Tina, Nagato.
Okay.
Ellen, would you like to try it?
I'm working, so it's difficult for me to read.
Okay, no
I'm
problem.
listening.
Okay.
Thank you. Never.
Okay, on that part there, it's important for people to know, I'm pretty sure everybody can deduce what this means, but when we say in digging up her soil, we have turned her inside out. This is in relation to what you know is on the inside of you. You know, on the inside of you, your stomach, where all your food goes, you know that is very toxic. If you had that stuff in your stomach exposed to your skin, it would burn your skin up. It's like an acid to you. If you had that on your eyeballs, it would burn your eyeballs out. If you touched it on your tongue, it would burn your tongue. So in relation to a human body, to saying like to turn it inside out is to take the toxins and to put it on the outside. This is where things like uranium mining has created irradiated materials where there has never been that exposure on the surface, you know, to humans, very rare anywhere on the earth that you're exposed to it, you know, on the surface. So just so that people know and understand what that reference is. Okay.
Okay, we bring toxins to the surface. Hetko undagerakwe.
Wahetko undagerakwe.
Wahetka undageragwe.
Wahetka ondagaragwe.
Wahetka undagerakwe.
Wahetka undagerakwe.
Wahetka undagerakwe.
Wahetka undageragwe.
Wahetka undageragwe.
Wahetka Ondagaragwe.
Adenatsera uhtune.
Adernatsera untone.
Adenatsera untone.
Adenatsera untune.
Adenatsara untune.
Adenatsara untune.
Atenatsra untune.
Adenatsera untune.
Atenatsera untune.
Adenatsara Ondone.
Okay, giga nahoda atkarihuni ayuderio hado.
Ayun. Ayun. Derio.
Okay, giga nahoda atkarihuni ayuderio hado.
Giga nahodo on antgarihuni ayon hado.
Giga nahoda antgarihuni ayon derio hado.
Giga nahoda antgarihuni ayunterio hado.
Gigana hota anterioni ayuterio hatu.
Giga nahota antgarioni ayon de rio ado.
Kigo nahota ankarihuni ayon rio hadu.
Giga nahoda angarihuni ayunteriu hado.
Giga nahoda antgarihuni ayon terio hado.
Gigon Nahoda Ontgarioni Ayon Dario Haldon.
Okay, we should put that in.
Yeah. Ayunterio hado and agero is against each other.
Yeah.
the people are in that Antkari Huni, yeah?
Yeah.
Huni, you can see people in Huni, like Ganasuni, Huni.
Ayun Deriyo Hado. Okay, we made it too expensive to live. Sochi Ganoro Aya Jun Hejege.
Soti Ganoro Aya Jun Hecheke.
Soti ganoro ayajon hecheke.
Sotsi ganoro ayajun hejeke.
Totsi Canorum. Sotsi Canorum. Ayaju Ejike.
It's the one.
Totsi Ganoru Ayajunye Etchege.
Soti Gnorum Ayajun Hejeke.
Totsi ganuru ayachun hecheke. Hejege.
Sotsi Ganoro Ayochun Hechike.
Sotsi Ganorum Ayatjon Hechige.
Add one before the KE. Is that what you were saying?
Heje. Hejeke, yeah.
Okay, Ayu Junior. Aidewari Wato Giga Naho Dansu.
Aya Junior, Aya de Wari Wanto, Gigo, Nahotanso.
Ayon jonya aye dewari wanto giga nahodanso.
Ayun chunya. Ayete wariwando. Giga no hatanso.
Ayo Junior. Ayete Mari Mandu. Kikang. Now Tansu.
Ayo Junya Ayedewari Wento Giga Nahutson. Nautsen no Nautenson.
Ayo Junyun Ayete Wari Monto Gigo Nahotonsun.
Ayun junior. Ayete wari wanto. Giga nahotanzu.
Ayo Junior Ayete Wariwanto Kika Nahotason.
Ayon Jon Ayat
Aidewari Wato.
Ayedewari Wanto Gigan Naho Danson. Soon.
Okay, putting the price of life. Jini Wadun Hetseranorum. Ra Naragon. Raon Ra. Rao Ra. Okay.
Okay, Zini Wadun Hetzera Noro, Ran Raonra. Raonra.
Oh, Ra. Raon Ra.
Oh, okay, Ra. Put a break at Ra.
And oh, Ra.
Ra.
Siniwadun hetsera noru narago raho ra.
Siniwadun hetseranoro. Ramnaraga. Raunra.
Siniwatu Etzeranarum. Norum. Ranaraga. Raonra.
Tiniwadun Etsera Noru Ranargan Rahundra.
Sini Watun Hetzera Norum Ra Ra Narago, Ra Ra.
Perfect.
Tini wadu hetsera noru, ranaraga, raunra. Raunra.
Ra'un, ra.
Raunra.
Tini waton hetsera noru, ranaroga, raonra.
It's one of the hardest words to say, and it's a short word. Ra'un, ra.
Sini wadon hetsera ro no ron nar ron
Naraga.
ron naraga raon ra.
Very good. Okay. Yugonu sesrono. Yede sque. Yede.
Oh, wait a minute. You know, wait. Put it at Yedewe.
Okay, yede. Oh, the S has to be in yede sque.
Yedewe square.
Yugonu sesrono yede sque. Zideyo. Hahoga. Ahunize.
So where should I split the phrase for the English?
Okay. People of the longhouse, I would just leave it like that.
Yeah, but we
Yugonu-
gotta put the English and the Kanienkeha together. The
People
second,
of the longhouse, Yugonu sesroro, Yedawesque, we were at is Yedawesque. And Gideohahoga is the crossroads.
okay. Yongueno Serrano, Yedewesque, Zideo Hahalgo, Honize.
Yunguanu sesrono, yedewesque, zideyo hahogon, ahunize.
Yungono sacerono, yetewesque, sideyo hahoga, ahonize.
Yunguanu sesrono. Okay, I'm doing it again. Yunguanu sesrono. Yetewesque. Zideyo hahoga, ahonize.
Yung wanus nunceruno yedewes. What?
Yugwanu sesrono.
Yung wanusesruno yedewesque. Sideyo ungwe ahoga unice.
Okay.
Unquanu says Ronum. Yetewesque. Titeyo Hahoga. Ahonize.
Very good, Harold.
Yunguanu hesruno, yetewesque, siteo hagoga, ahonize.
Yunquanu sesrono, yetewesque, sitio, hahoga, ahonise.
Young guanu saron no on is that
Yedewesque.
Yedewesque, Deo Hahogon, Ahoni. Can you say that one?
Ahonize.
Ahonize.
That it?
Yeah. Now this one we have to split it.
Shungueda.
One man, Ayawanta, saved us. Put that under the first line. Giga from this. Agariwanto from this path.
Agariwanto is path of destruction, Wayageru?
What's that?
Agariwanto.
Agarihoto, yeah.
With the healing wampum of the 13. Yeah. Wow, okay, we'll do the whole thing.
Okay. Jugueda Ayuata. Wasungwa Nyagante. We better do it line by line. We're not going to do it. Jugueda Ayuata Wasungwa Nyagante.
Tungweta. That's the first word. That should be capitalized, right? The T. Tungweta Ayawanta Wasungwanyagante.
Sungweta Ayunwata Wasungwanyagante.
Songweta Ayunwata Wasongwanyagande.
Sumweta, Ayuwata, Wasugwanya Gante.
Sugueta Ayawanta Wasuguanyagante.
Good, say Neo.
Harold?
Sungweta, Ayonwata, Wasungwani. Sorry, my internet's messing up. Am I coming through?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Sungweta, Ayonwata, Wasungwanya Gente.
Chungueta, Ayunwata, Wasumquanyagante.
Conqueta, Ayumata, Wasun, Guanya, Cante.
Songweta Ayonwata Wasongwanya Ete.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, go. This next one is Giga. Giga Chinaho Dansu. Agarihotu.
What?
Sinyo Hahodan, it says.
Okay, Giga Jinio Hahodan Agarihotu.
Giga Zinio Hahoda Agariwanta.
Giga Zinio Hahota Agariwan.
Giga Sinyo Hahodan Agariwanto.
Yikyo, Sinio, Hota, Agariwando.
Giga Sinio Ahundo Aguariwando. Wantu.
Agarihotu. Agarihotu.
What is that? Gaye.
agariwantu.
Gigon, sino, si, ni, yo, hahotum, agari, wantum.
Giga, Chinio Hahoda, Agariwantu.
Ika, Zinio Hahota, Akariwata.
Gigon Sinio Ha Hodon Agari Won Tun.
All right. Kaye wadatsera. Kaye wadatsera onagora. Kaye wadatsera onagora asayaware aseria watejado.
Okay, put it at Gaye 1 dot. What are we doing? Gaye 1 dot.
It's already there. I don't know why it's not in your computer. Oh, I just got kicked out.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Are we still there then?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, there it is. Now I see it. Okay.
Kaye wadatsera onagora asayaware aseria watejado.
Okay, Gaye 1 datsera onagoro asayawana wane asayawana. Oh, it's 13. Asayawana. Okay. Asayawana aserie wajedat jatto. Watejatto. Watejatto.
Gayuan Datsira, Onegora, Asanyawore, Azerie, Wadejato.
Gayewandatsara, Onagora, Asayawane, Aserie, Watejado.
Kayewandatsara onagora asayaware asawayan asayaware asiye watejadu.
Good.
Gaye wadatsera onegora asanyaware aserie wadejato.
Gaye wantatsera onegoa asanya manre. Asanya manre aseri watejatum.
Gaye Wandatsara, Unegora, Asanyaware, Aserie, Wadejadu.
Gaye Wendatsera, Onagora, Asanyawere, Aserie, Watejato.
Guy Won Wandatsara Ongora Osinya Wanare Aserie Wadedon Dion Don Watejado.
Well, Guido, I have a question. The word watejado, that's the ceremonial process, right?
Yeah.
So watejado is condolence, so it means that the ceremonial process starts with the condolence, or?
That was the first part of it. The condolence was actually was the thing that was done first. and it was unofficial. It's not a part of the law. It's a part of what you discover of being human. Let's say that time, remember when we had that argument, the reference I gave the other day, when I told you to F off, and then I came back and I apologized to you. It's that part. It's discovering that part that makes you human. You know, that it's not something in law that you can say, you have to do this. You know, anybody can be a jerk. Anybody can be a jerk and still be within law. Being not being a jerk, it's not law. It's not to say that law says it's illegal to be a jerk. Law tells you you shouldn't be, but it's not illegal. There is like an area of where the rubber band can stretch and still be a rubber band. But outside of that area, it can't stretch any longer and still be a rubber band. So there is an area of flexibility of and discoverability within law. This is why adding to the rafters is so important, because it's something about we don't know yet. We don't know. Like, let's say you create a car, you create an internal combustion engine. Yeah, but what about what happens with what comes out of there? Then you discover, okay, exhaust, it's really loud and it's smelly. I got to make a muffler. I got to make a catalytic converter. You know, the things that you discover afterwards. So the law, as it's growing, to grow, to be human, to be the best human, which is the first thing that took place was the human connection. And it's important to know, this does not come from the Ganawida. The human connection does not come from him. It comes from Ayawanta. Who was Ayawanta? A man who killed. So what we're talking about here, what we're identifying is something in the non-native world that they never know, is that when you come and fight, then what you do, basically, like when you go in war, then what you do is the winner takes the loser to court and says, you were a criminal. So the winner isn't a criminal, even though the winner, just like the United States, Britain, NATO, allied countries, they all done criminal activities, but they took Nazi Germany to court. Oh, well, they all killed hundreds of thousands of people. They all killed innocent women and children. They all were subhuman. But in the white man's world, subhuman does never become human, because what it does is, like we said, it takes the other one to court and charges them with criminal conduct. This is the reason why the non-native is in war forever. You're forever going to be locked in war, because not only do you have the current day enemies, but you have a backlog of enemies building up on you now for thousands of years, of which you are completely unaware of. You have no clue that this person who is living in your country, in Europe, in Germany, in Britain, you got no clue. You think they're a part of you, but all of a sudden they snap based on hundreds and thousands of years of a corrupted oppression coming from Europe upon all other people. And then when these other people come into the presence of Europe, not right away, you're going to see it's going to build up. And that memory of the corruption from 100, 200, 500, 1,000 years ago is going to come back to that person. And what are they going to do? You know what they're going to do? They're going to slash somebody in the streets. They're going to stab somebody on a high-speed train. They're going to attack people, because this is an old thing that is the result of the conduct of the European, as that when they aggress upon somebody, they then charge that person with the criminal conduct of, you got no right to defend yourself, but your defense is an act of aggression. This is the crazy corruptions of the European that causes them to be locked in war forever. No matter what, the European, will never be able to get out of war. So think of it. The European, if your bloodline is European, you are on a one-way path of destruction. So this path must be gotten off. You must jump off this path. You must break away from it. The parts of you that have become solidified to being a part of it, to accepting it as your way, you have to break all of these things. And it's going to be like breaking your arms. It's going to be like gnawing off your foot or your hand to get out of a trap. Okay, so
Just to reiterate, basically, it said that without the ceremonial process, there is no law. So it's the first thing that human contact.
yeah, so that first thing was Ayahuasca. The first part of law was when Ayahuasca lost his 7 daughters, and in his him being lost splits the sky for a moon. They're gonna weed everybody in the world hears about this and knows everybody's on edge. Oh no, what's gonna happen? The world could fall apart today. The world was depending on one man, and the people of the world today have no clue how one man's strength actually saved the entire world. Because right now the European world is on the brink of eliminating themselves, suicidal. They don't realize it yet, but the only thing that's going to save them is the same thing, the only thing that saved them once before, us. You're the only thing that's going to save the white European. To come to their senses means to come to us, because they on their own do not have the senses necessary to be able to pull them out of the darkness that they've locked themselves into. And so the knowledge of the Guyana Rasa Goa of how humans actually apply law. Now, this is what everybody knows in the world. You go to school, you learn theory, and then you get out in the field and you say, that theory didn't do me any good. But it did you good. It's just that the mechanism, the proper tool to put it into application is not there. This is why the world does not know it, but the world will come crawling, begging on its hands and knees after it's destroyed itself, begging to the people of the Longhouse, the only people that have the knowledge of this mechanism of how to take something like what everybody in the non-native world knows. You've heard of these crazy things called 10 Commandments. What the hell good has it done you? In over 2,000 years, with millions, hundreds of millions of people hearing of this and knowing of it, what good has it done all of those hundreds of millions of people in multiple consecutive generations? It hasn't done nothing, because all of them are all stuck in the same corrupted, warring mentality behavior for thousands of years. Every generation is locked into it. So the mechanism of how to put things into practical application, this is not known in the white man's world. The practical application gets lost with a sledgehammer. Here's how you put how you fit this crystal glass into this whatever, into this box. You use a sledgehammer. Bam! That's the solution to everything in the white man's world. It's sledgehammer politics, as you know. It's called what do you call that? End of a gun barrel politics. It's all the negative. It's all the destructive. So the process of how law is applied is not within law itself. It's within the formation of the league. And this is a thing that you're not going to find anywhere. You go to anybody who's going to talk about great law of peace, and you're going to hear different versions. You're going to hear very different stories of the origins of the formation of the Longhouse. But there's only one way that it happened, and it's not a made-up version. It's how it actually happened. And It's easy to deduce from here how things actually happen. Like we say many times, an investigator can go to a crime scene, doesn't have to be there, but can deduce, can put everything together, and you could even discover who the criminal is, who the culprit is. They could be on the other side of the world. You could discover it. It is not something that is not knowable. It is knowable. Okay, so
So we just know it is 9-2, and we have 3 people that raise their hand. There's Franz, there's Lisa, and there's Steven.
okay, let's go to them.
Is this a comment I wanted to say because of what you said, Stuart, when you said that people have to leave, this nonsense. And I was thinking about how these people, like most of them are children and women and elderly that are stuck into a world that, even though you might say they have to leave this, where would they go and what would they do? So I was wondering if there's a process or to make sure that once they get to that point, they are out of it. And is it well known? How can they know it?
Okay, well, it's not something that is well known. And the only way to know it is to discover it. It's not something that is known. You have to discover it. It's like being a baby. A baby doesn't know calculus. The baby has to discover it. And that's a long process. It's not just when they're in grade 12 or when they're in university and then all of a sudden calculus. No, it's rooted in 1 and 1. And that is not rooted in numbers, in thought, in the mind, where it is rooted in the first interaction that a baby has with another baby. And so it's not numbers, it's humans. And so the process of dehumanization is based on something that is outside of human thought. And so people who are engaged in that are not ever gonna discover. They are not ever gonna know. Never. It's impossible. And so the only way then that a person can is through a slow awakening process as to what you are completely aware of, as to what you have been going through. And so you can see yourself that the process isn't something that a person can just say, hey, I want to wake up to it, and then the world is different for them. No, you know that the process is long, it's excruciating. It's gonna be break this. You're gonna have to break this to be free. And I don't mean this by your arm, but it's going to be on the equivalent of your hand is attached to something. It's on tight to something, every single last one of you. And you won't let go. And so what you're going to do, or what you're going to end up having to do, is gnaw off your own hand. You're going to have to break it. It's like a porcelain doll. You're going to have to break those limbs in order to get them to bend, in order to be free, because if not, you're locked. Think of this. The food is disappearing. Where's the food? It's there. What are you going to do to go and get it? How could people be starving? Food is there. You just got to go get it. Well, what's preventing them then? Something in here is preventing starving people on the streets in every city. Something's preventing them from eating. What is it? Is it you? Are you preventing people from being nourished? Are you causing people to starve to death? Yes, indeed, you are, through your conduct. Now, that conduct is how you eat. It's how you put clothes on your back, how you live and stay warm enough. Is anybody going to wake up to that? Is anybody going to stop that? No. This is what we said earlier when we started off in this class tonight, that what's wrong with the world, or to correct it, it's not about stopping. It's not about stopping doing this. It's about doing something else. So when you do something else, all of those other things that you have to stop will not be the focus any longer. So right now you're hanging on to this. We're hanging on to this lighter. And of quite literally, it's a good example. We're hanging on to it because look how convenient it is. I don't have to rub two sticks together or get a rock and keep some dry stuff with me and to make a fire. Convenience keeps me locked to this. And so I'm not going to break away from it. And so if I'm not going to break away from it, again, we got to look at what we will do. And so if we stay focused on this, we got to break away from this. Cars, we got to stop. We got to break away from it. If we focus on that, we're never going to break away from it. Instead, if we focus on what we got to do, then our energies go to this, and your energy means like there's energy in your body to squeeze your fingers together to hang on to this. But our energy, you will discover when you're doing what you have to do, it will take all of your energy, and all of a sudden, magically, this thing that you're hanging on to here, that out of convenience, you'll have to drop it. And your energy will be focused on this. So the process is not a way that the people think. The formation of the league is not known by any of our people today. They will not be able to tell you how the longhouse was put together. And therefore, they will not be able to tell you how it's maintained, how it is held together after the first time it's put together. It takes vigilance afterwards, but when the vigilance breaks down, then there's a new process that you have to start over again that is not known to you. So these things, like these questions that you ask, it's not known to you. It's not going to be known to the person. What's inside the box? You're not going to know until you open it. Same way, you're not going to know what's outside of the box until you open it to get out of it. And so these things of which you ask, these things will be discovered by the person as they're walking on that path. But to talk about it before the person gets there is to talk about some kind of crazy fantasy. Talk about utopian dreams. And utopian dreams are pipe dreams, things that can never be attained. So to get to peace, even in some areas, you're going to have to not think. You're going to have to quite simply do the action. If you stop to take the time to think about the action, in some cases, you're going to miss the window of opportunity. Anyways, that probably doesn't answer your question the way that you want it, the way you wanted it to be answered, but to expose to you that it's not going to happen based on the mindset or the way that you think you understand things, based on the way that you've understood the world up until now. It's completely different.
And there's Lisa.
I almost think I forgot my question. There's so much to unpack with what you've said, but I wanted to better understand, and we can do this another day, but I really wanted to understand the role of women in the origin of the piece and the maintenance of the piece, and what the role of Jigonsase was in the original story. Or in the, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but anyway, that could be for another day.
Well, I'll give you a nutshell here. The role of the women is like you see today in government. You know, there's a shadow government controlling everything, right? Behind the scenes, you can't see it. That's the reality. Men are window dressing. All of the stuff, all of the work, it was really the women. Men had to do the superficial stuff. Just like here, you know, the work here within the longhouse, people see this is how it is. I can do the big work. I can get the big groundwork stuff done. But then after that, the articulation, the fine stuff, you know, that's not my field. I can't do that. My hands, my mind isn't working that way. Like for the garden. I can get the garden going. I can get the garden planted. I can get the manage it, get everybody to do it, to get it going. But then the maintenance of it, the handling of it, the love, the time you have to spend with it, that's just not me. I'm just not that. But the women need me to do that. So it looks like, hey, the men did this. No, the men did not do nothing. The men did what the women directed us to do, and not in a way of where you better do this. No, it's in a way of authority. How authority tells you to do something. And authority tells you to do something not out of, I demand you to do this. It tells you out of, what's the word here? When you, like a mother, tells a child to do something, and then she gets home and the child didn't do it. So the mother is angry, upset, she's frustrated, out of frustration. Authority, out of frustration. The women being frustrated with the men that we were acting like a bunch of idiots. The best word that you can identify men at war is, pardon my language, but asshole. That's the best explanation of what a man is who's at war. He is a complete asshole. So whatever you imagine asshole is, that's anybody who's at war. So all the men were a bunch of assholes. So the women are subjected to all these assholes being assholes. And so this means that the women in their everyday actions are oppressed by the men. The women can't be free. And so there is a slow authority that is filtered through to the men, not of so much of anger and aggression, but it's that frustration in what's wrong with you. It's more like, what's wrong with you? You should be ashamed of yourself. This is how the women got the men to lay down our arms. But it wasn't the women together who done this. It was one woman. It was one woman who stood on the warpath, that is Jagunsase, and she called upon them that would come to stop other men from being assholes. Because like it or not, men who are being assholes are not gonna stop being assholes, because they are king. They are king of the day. They are never gonna stop because they are in power. So she called it, the fact is it takes another man to stop men from being assholes. So she called upon the man who would do that. Now, when the women are saying to their men, I'm ashamed of you, but then there's a man here that they're holding up, then this is how through influence that the women changed the men. They built their men, and through the men that they built, influenced one after another to slowly build proper men in this world. And so there's a lot more to it than that as to the influence and how Jagunsase affected the great peace into the world, but it was her. The Ganawida did not just walk into this world. It was her that called upon him. And it was not just her as to her in the person here and now. It was her that was part of a continuum, a part of a society that was slowly being whittled away at, the same way that you see us today. Natives slowly being whittled away at, and what is remaining is the asshole. That's what's remaining. And so the conditions of today are the exact same conditions of when we here had gone through the formation of the League. More on that next summer as to the full story of Jagunsase. The full story of Jagunsase is not known by anybody in this world. You got to be a Longhouse person to know her story, because everybody talks about the formation of the League, and they'll talk about the Ganawida, and they'll talk about everything that he did while he was here in this world. But that's not the formation of the League. That's the like, if you can see the laborers on the job creating I don't know, nailing the boards together, welding everything and building a building. Is that where it started? No, it started before that. There was a lot of work that had to be done in the design, in the architecture, the plans being drawn out. That is Jagunsaze. That is the continuous woman, not a woman of a here and now in any given generation, but a continuous woman. She herself is the living, breathing plant. She is the power. If there is a continuous woman in this world, that woman will carry unknown power to the people of this world. She will have multi-generational power. She will have authority over people through frustration, which will mean that the men that are on the receiving end of her glances, of her stares, of her look of bewilderment, of why are you so stupid? Those men will be receiving in such a way like, I don't know why I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I apologize. What do I got to do to make it better? Type of interaction. Okay, more on that next summer at the law recital.
So there, Stephen and Elsa also raised her hand. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay.
Elsa, it's Steve first, sorry.
No, Elsa can go. Go ahead, Elsa.
Sound like he said, I'll second go. When he said Elsa can go. Go ahead, Elsa.
Okay. So what I understood from while I've been thinking about that, sorry. If I talk about sacred reciprocity, I say sacred because it's about evolution and the building of the creation. So it's about we could say the link between people, but I understand now that it's about also Iwata, who did that one boom, because when Stuart was talking about adding the rafters, I think for me it's like reciprocity. So it's how humans can link to each other. Is it the right thing I understood?
Yeah, that's law. Without knowing law, like without being able to articulate to say this is law, like reading from a law book or something, everybody naturally has the part of their brain in them that knows what law is, because it's about having the proper reciprocal relationship with others. And others doesn't just mean humans. Others means other life forms, a cloud, a tree, the grass, in what people consider to be inanimate objects like a rock. You have a relationship with a rock. How many of you, when you were kids, had a rock collection? How many of you got a rock collection right now? How many of you have a rock in your house right now that you have some connection to? All of us. I would bet you there's not one of us who does not have a rock. So we got all kinds of connections to what is referred to as inanimate objects. So it's about us. If we got our favorite rock, it's not about us, what are we going to do with this rock? Who can we hit in the head and kill with it? No, it's about what this rock does for us, right? Like if it's a memory, if it looks like something, it makes us think about something. I used to have a rock that was just for looking at, for looking into and seeing things. And it was a rock that was split in two, and on the inside, I don't know, I forget what you call those, but it had like a design on the inside. And so that was a rock for looking into things, for understanding things. So the reciprocal relationship with all life, again, something that when you're thinking, I'm having a reciprocal relationship with that part of the sky over there in the afternoon time, when you're watching a beautiful sunset, your relationship isn't just with the colors in that sky, it's with the clouds, it's with the birds, it's with all the little microbial life that is in that sky that you cannot see. So the interaction with all things reciprocating. So if somebody gives you a slice of apple pie, oh wow, thank you very much, you'll give them a ride to the store to buy that apple pie. A reciprocal. You're not gonna all of a sudden tell that person while you're bringing them to the bakery to get an apple pie, okay, get out, you stupid idiot, and then still expect to get your slice of pie from them. Reciprocal in all things. Okay, who's next?
Steve.
Okay, this is just a quick question for Stuart and Wyagerta. I was always wondering, is there like a Christian influence to Ainwata with the 7 daughters? I always felt like that number 7 is, that's kind of like a Christian number. I wondered why they never used like a sacred number like 4 or 8. Or maybe that was the literal number of the daughters. But I was just curious if there was because I feel like there's been, historically speaking, there has always been Christian influences on pretty much everything. But I was just curious what both of your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, this is a condescending perception of religified mind. Is that the religified mind in believing God, that, okay, the way God says is it's like this. It's man, and therefore all God believers all view the world one way, and they all have the same corruptions. So think of this. My left side of my body is the exact same thing as the right side of my body, except it's polar opposite. Now, can the left side of my body claim that this is exclusive? Like, let's say, if on the left side of my body, there's a number 7. Oh, this is exclusive to us. Hey, how did you on the right side of the body, how is it that you're claiming 7? No way, that doesn't belong to you. That belongs to us. You're getting Christian influence. When religion is based on corrupting the truth of creation. So it's going to use things that are real to everybody. And they're going to isolate those real things to being only God. And so if you see it in anybody else, you're going to think, well, no, that can't be you. Or you're going to think that the perception of the world, or you know what, maybe this is where the flat earth comes in from the religified mind, and thinking, canceling out that it's not possible on the other side. It's only possible in here where we're at. How could it be that on this side there's 5 fingers? Oh, you go over to the right side. How come you have 5 fingers, you bunch of copycats? That's not yours. You better come up with your own. You better develop another finger or a finger less, and maybe this is part of the reason why the religified mind, when they came here, found it so important to cut off the left hand of all the people. That might be part and parcel as to the corruption that's within them. But anyways, no, it's not Christian influence. The 7 daughters is actually the number of daughters that he had, but it's also connected to the 7 dancers, which is connected to the DNA spiral, which breaks it down to that there's not actually 7 of them. there's actually 5. The 7 are the 2 at the ends that are never really in that. They're like the doorkeepers. They're the like the ones that usher in and usher out. So in the strand of when you see 5 DNA, you know that there's 2 that you can't see. The ones that are straight onto you, not the ones that are like sideways. So yeah, Guayaguero, you want to throw something in there?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm like Steve. That number 7, I I think it's a religious. I know it is because I did some extensive study on it. It's a Jesuit number, 3 and 7. And I guess most some kind of beliefs, religions, other religions than the Catholic religion have some kind of a number, you know, maybe the Buddhists have one too, I don't know. But I know in our hemisphere that the Jesuits use 7, and so I never use 7, you know, I try to avoid 7. And it's something I always like the Plains Cree Indians who use the number 8 because it never ends. And it seems like 7, it's always the end of something, the end of the world, all that crap. The world's never going to end. Humanity will end. People will end. There'll be there'll be another type of human being. But at 7 is you're supposed to make your decision then. That's like the 11th hour then. It's too late. So you follow number 8, it's endless. You just keep going and going. But you know, that's my opinion on this, and that's all.
When you're thinking of numbers, again, think of computer, zeros and ones, zeros and ones. Place them all in different ways. Your mind gets isolated into seeing the world through numbers. But like we said earlier, that it's not about the numbers, it's about the human interaction. So when you look at interactions, then when you're looking at numbers, anybody can have an opinion about any number. This is my lucky number. I don't like that number for whatever reason, superstition or whatever, or think you can say 7. It's like a Christian number, like what you said. But let's look in the natural order of things. Where does that come from? Like we said, that religion is based on real things, but distorts them to get your mind outside of the knowledge of those real things. So where in creation is there 7? Anybody? Look to the moons. When you're understanding the moon, you
The
will.
7 dancers.
What?
The 7 dancers.
The 7 dancers, or the.
Yeah, but okay, but the 7 dancers is a point in time that isn't there all the time. It's like coming in the door or going out the door. So it's not like what's going on in the room. So what's going on in creation with the number 7? This is where I said you got to look to the moons. When you look to the moons, then you'll understand about the number 7, and you'll actually understand something different. Why religion can create that mind distortion by taking real things and giving you false ways of thinking about it, of understanding it, where everybody says the perception of the moons. Everybody's perception of it is backwards. You look at what's called the first quarter. That's not a quarter. That is a half. Now you got to understand when you're looking at the moons, the moon, one is half this way. Like for instance, half of it will be blocked out on this side, but then after or before the new or full moon, then the other side will be blocked out. So then your perception and understanding of that number 7 becomes different. It's like we talked about before, that the 7, which is the half moon, which everybody automatically thinks quarter. So their mind is automatically, the perception of it is automatically distorted. But what that quarter is, now you're saying, what do they call it? Waxing and waning. For me, I don't think about that. I think, is it a half of the new moon or is it a half of the full moon? Now, if you're thinking that, you're gonna know where you're placed then. Is that the first 7 days? Or is that the 7 days after? The 7 days before the full, or the 7 days after? So the concept of the number 7 is much more than a number. It is a rhythm. It is a thing within creation, a rhythm, a cycle. Whether we want to see it as Christian, whatever, it's not. Christian religion, religified, tries to take that and distorts it to become their own. When the fact is that it's 7 days from new moon to the first half, 7 days from the first half to the full, 7 days from the full to the last half, 7 days from there to the new. But as you know, it's not always 28 days exactly. So this is where the 7 will be either a female or a male, because just like the new moon the other day, it didn't happen in the daytime. It happened in the night. And so that makes the new moon then at that time, that 7, which is female, it makes it a male female at that time. Now, if it was new moon after, if it's in the daytime, then that's a female moon. So this is understanding about how you're taking protons, neutrons, and electrons and rearranging them in different orders to create a diversity of things when you're using the exact same building blocks from the get-go. So numbers are important. They're not important for us to look at, well, what can we do from here with these numbers? They're important for us to look at as to what was done with these numbers. What was done with the number 7? So we know that there's natural things, natural rhythms in creation of number 7. So should we then allow religion to distort our perception of that number? No, we shouldn't. We should look at the reality of that number in creation. So it's funny that it talks about 7 daughters. And we're identifying that the moon is the only thing in creation that identify, or you can find 7 days. And
It looks like they froze up.
Yeah.
He did.
Everybody's like, yep, they're gone.
See ya.
So Angel
Uh,
is not here today to call them, so I
Yeah,
guess.
why you get her?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, a lot of that was kind of over my head. The protons, neutrons, electrons, and all that other stuff. That's kind of out of my league. I don't know about all that stuff.
Hmm.
I just know all those, the 8 years of Catholic school I went to, kind of familiar with, the stories and the numbers that they use and the scriptures and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm totally behind you. We've discussed it before.
Yeah, yeah.
I listened to professors talk about it who brought it up, and I says, hey, that's I always felt that, but it's nice when somebody that's supposed to be really educated,
Yeah.
came up with the numbers. How come they it matched with my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they also have said, and by they I mean like I think it was Christian influenced, how they were trying to relate the Ganawida to Jesus, like you and I were talking about it, Wyagerta, before. You know, saying how he crossed the waters to the deserts and came back with wounds and all that stuff. I mean, that's totally Christianized without a
Yeah,
doubt.
when they run two parallel, you start to wonder, say, come on, now how can we have a
Yeah,
different story?
yeah.
Who copied who? Like, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
So they lost the internet connection, they say.
They
All
lost
right.
it?
Yeah, but they're trying to come back.
What, did somebody pull the plug out or?
I don't know. She said they're trying to come back. So I told her that if there's anything that is going that they can't do, then to just call me back.
Well, it's almost 10 o'clock. Hey, tonight, they turned the clock back tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that.
The recording is still going on, eh? Oh, they're there.
You're still on?
Yeah, that's why it's weird.
Oh, they can hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were off altogether.
Oh, okay. I have to shut off the Facebook. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. You've been suffering of
What does
this.
that mean? It's gonna stop Facebook Live?
No, no. Oh, phew. Okay. Now connect. Just so everybody hears. We can hear everybody. No, hang on just a second. It's weird why you cannot come back. Okay. Everybody here as well? Okay.
Okay,
We
all
hear
right.
too.
Sorry about that, everybody. Knowing where we left off, we don't want to get too much back into things because we're already almost 40 minutes late.
Oh, I get it left.
He's gone?
Yeah.
Oh, well, how the hell are we gonna do that now?
Maybe he got kicked off too. I don't know. He was here just earlier.
No, he was too long after his time now.
Mm.
Okay, well, if we can't reach him to do that, we'll just close and we'll get the recording off him tomorrow. We'll have him do it tomorrow. He's gonna be here in the morning. We'll see, she's calling him right now. Okay, anyways, where we left off about that thing about numbers. Anybody can say anything about any number because every number is a reality. I don't care if it's number 1 or if it's a Googleplex. As you know, that every number in between is a reality in creation. And so if by the time you started counting and you got to a Google and that would be a number related to real things. whether it's the amount of particles in electrons in a solar system, or the amount of galaxies in the waterverse. The numbers will be a reality for everybody. So we have to be careful as to not to let those realities be distorted. Again, the number 7, there is 7 spans of skin. There is what people know, or in the non-native world, is so-called 7 chakras within the body. There are within Taradaho, there was the 7 crooks in his body. There is the 7 days in the moon. There is 7 whatever. So let's not allow our reality to be distorted by religious nonsense. Yeah, basically just that. But in other things, Stephen, as far as other similarities, there are so many similarities, and you just might wonder, well, then how come we didn't turn out the same way? How come we didn't turn out to be a bunch of murdering, thieving, rapists, killers, the way that the Europeans did? When it's the same things they're talking about, well, then it tells us that here, with all the same stuff, there's an outcome of peace. On the other side, there's an outcome of war. But they're the ones that talk about God. They're the ones that talk about being God-fearing and being like God. And they're the ones, according to them, who are the chosen people by God. But yet, they are non-stop war forever and ever. So it tells you something then about all the perceptions that come along with the mindset of religion, that it's all bullshit. It's all a distorted lie to brainwash everybody in the world, to get everybody outside of the natural order of creation and to accept destroying it. Because the destruction, again, non-native science is a reverse technology, but it's based on the reality of how creation was built. It's just how to tear it apart. Okay, we're gonna have to end. We don't have wire Gerder then, huh? Okay, we're gonna get that from him tomorrow. We're just gonna close. So what did we do for closing last week? That was you who did it, right? Was it you?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue in here. You want to do it? Come and do it.
Hi, I'm Céline. I'm the daughter of Fleurette. I'm the granddaughter of Cécile, the great-granddaughter of Rosanna and Olivia, and I'm also the mother of Roxanne. So for the closing, we'd like to thank the Sky Woman for all of the spirit that is within each of us. I'd like to thank Grandmother Moon for all of the movement that she creates in creation, and all of our blood that is in our veins, and in every animals and anybody that has blood. I'd like to thank all of the animals that are aqua, from the water, that are from the four-leggeds, the crawlers, and the Wiggins, so that they are all part for us to observe and learn from them. I'd like to thank all of the smallest baby girl to the oldest elderly woman, as to the guidance that they bring for our nations. I'd like to thank the protectors that are there to bring us serenity in our life, and for us to be able to bring forward our soul and the love that we are to carry on to this world. I'd like to thank all of the elements, the air, the fire, the right now I just woke up. The air, the fire, the water, and the wind, the soil. Yes. I'd also like to thank all of the medicine that we were offered either from the earth or from our companion, as the animal companion, or our friendship between us, the kisses and the hugs that we share to each other. I'd like to thank all of the children that are running around us and giving us love, as to just to watch what they do. So if ever I've put anything in the bad order, just place it in your heart and carry on love for all humanity to grow better. I hope.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a great evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Ona.
Bye. Love you.
Ona.
Don't see each other.
Los adios.
Ow, ow,
Bonne
ow.
rêve.
On